It's the Pitch Talk back again on your screens. Thank you very much for subscribing, liking, and sharing our content. We really appreciate you. All those who have subscribed, we appreciate you. We have another episode today hosting, I will say, the new guy. As I said, we will be joining a lot of new people in this podcast because it is your podcast. We'll try and get everyone who is willing to talk about football, something that we like. His name is Nkanyi Somtolo, a newly qualified analyst, qualified with FC Barcelona. So you can tell the stature of a man that he is a man that you can trust with his stats because we know Barcelona is one of the best teams in the world. So he qualified with them. And I'm also joined by Benjamin Nyirenda, seasoned journalist, who has always been with us here in this show. Benji, welcome. Before we get to, so let's just welcome the citizen.
The senior one, the senior citizen. Yeah, thanks so much, Mkenyi. Thanks, Nganyiso, for joining us. You know, more heads help each other with ideas than one or two. You know, when we are three, we know we are going to help each other. Thanks so much to the talkers. We call them the talkers. You know, everyone who is following us, subscribing with us on Pitch Talkers, we call them the talkers because we talk here. Always we talk, and we talk football. So thank you to those who have followed, subscribed, and even liked us going forward. We thank you so much. That's how the talkers are growing.
Thank you very much, Benji. And Kanyiso, please greet our Pitch Talkers, as Benji has said. People that have subscribed and that are following this channel, we call them Pitch Talkers. Please introduce yourself to them.
Thank you so much. Firstly, let me say I truly appreciate the opportunity to join and be part of the Pitch Talkers. I think I talk a lot as well, so I'm part of the talkers now. And whoever hasn't subscribed, to whoever's not following, they're missing out. This is the right platform. It's growing, so please do and subscribe and keep on watching us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please touch on your qualification. I know you've recently qualified as a technical analyst. Just give us a brief of what is it that you do, and what is it that you're looking forward to doing.
So I first started with a D license, and this was when I was still back home in South Africa before coming back to the USA. Got to the USA, and I embarked on the journey of getting my diploma in football tactical analysis, which is mainly you become an advisor to a coach. In simple terms, you become an advisor to a coach. The coach will ask you a question, so you have to go and look for answers. And I've been doing that for the past 2 years. And currently, I'm not attached to any team. So I'd say I freelance, I've been helping out here and there with coaches that I know back home in South Africa. So that's pretty much it at the present moment.
That is so nice. I wouldn't want to dive into trying to find out who are you helping, because I think you are also playing your card very close to your chest without disclosing that information. But thank you very much. We are very happy with youngsters who are willing to study, willing to embark on the journey, as you have just said, of studying. You just mentioned now that you are no longer in South Africa, you are based in America. I know that you've been there for the past, I would say, 8 years. From 2018, I think you went to America, and then you started studying, obviously 2 years ago, as you have just said. But we truly appreciate the fact that younger generation are taking this seriously, because this thing of saying a connection, it does not work if you don't have if you don't have qualifications. Benji, truly appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's dive into football, guys. Bafana played South Korea, and then they qualified for the first time into the knockout stages of the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup, something that we have never seen Bafana doing. And we were so happy as a country. We're so happy as Africa. And surely you can dive into one or two things that we did right, Benji.
Yeah, we should have started, doing well. I think we started doing well from the second game, our group game, which was Czech Republic. I think that's where we changed things. Even the coach himself changed things in that game. Looking at how we played against Mexico, playing defensively in our first game, which I think was a mistake, to the second game, which was against a Czech Republic. I think the coach saw that what he did in the first game didn't work for South Africa. It was not the kind of football that he even himself knows he has been playing in the AFCON, in the World Cup qualifiers. So going to the South Korea game, he changed a lot. Even the way the starting line up looked like, apart from missing Teboho Mokoena Mbulambule, to say maybe because of the yellow card, but the way the team started, I think that was the way we would have started even against maybe Mexico. We could have even played a draw, even win against Mexico, because it was not a threatening game. But the most thing that changed and that improved in the South Korea game is the starting line up, first of all. The way the coach made up his team, it was a promising team, an attacking team, a team that could put pressure on the opposition defense so that they don't come on at you. So that's what helped you. You are Mufukeng there, you are Apolis there, you are Mbata there, you are Stoles there. All those were going forward to say, let's put pressure on these people. You are Maseko's there. If you look at the chances that Maseko had in the first half, I think we could have won that game even with more than one goal, maybe 2-3-0. In first half alone, we would have scored 2 goals. I think that was the biggest positives and change in the game against South Korea.
You know what, Benji, you're mentioning the chances that we have lost in Maseko, even though that he scored that goal that took us to the knockout stages against South Korea. You know, I want to dive into technical part of it when Chisegelo now comes in. By the way, if you see me calling him Chisegelo, he's got 2 names. He's Chisegelo Nkanyiso Mtolo. So I'm so used to this name. So don't be alarmed and saying, who's this Chisegelo this guy is talking about? I don't see no Chisegelo there. No, Nkanyiso is Chisegelo. Let's dive into that Chisegelo, looking at what patterns, and I know you guys have these patterns, double pivot, the formation, you know, the blocks. What is it that we got right, especially in that last game where I thought we were going to struggle? For me, I was not scared of Mexico. I was not scared of Czechia. But however, but I was so scared of South Korea, because I think those were people that were going to challenge us, because they have similar football, similar structure of bodies to us. They're not as tall as Czechia and any other European teams. So I was not sure if we were going to qualify. So when we won that game, I was so happy. So what is it that we got right structurally now on the game? I know that there were a lot of changes in terms of lineup, but maybe you can just dive into many of those aspects.
Yeah, I think what we got right was the most important thing was the discipline in movement, the discipline in timing. The guys really moved well off the ball, which was really important, because if you move well off the ball, then it means you close down spaces for the opposition to utilize. Going to defense, we had Mutau on the right, and then Modiba, which South Korea looked to utilize the space behind Modiba. Hence, you didn't see Apolis going forward that much. He was always doubling up in helping out Modiba on the other side. Same with Maseko, which he was on the right side, if I'm not mistaken, most of the time. And then in the middle, we had our most creative player, Fukeng. So, you know, when you have players like that, they can utilize the spaces between the fullback and the center back. So that's where we normally got them. If you look at the goal Maseko scored, he was coming from the outside into moving, shifting inwards when the ball came from the opposite side. So that's actually the plan, and the guys really did well, you know, in implementing the game plan. I'm sure the coach also told them that just go out there and enjoy and kill those chances. I feel like we should have scored 4 or 5, but we couldn't really be clinical in the box.
You know, in your profiling, when you send me those videos, because Njesegelo has this passion of what he does in analysis. You showed me spaces that were very similar to what we had in terms of now them breaking us breaking them. Did you see that in our game? Did you see that they were opening up as you have profiled them before the match?
Yeah, look, they tried. I don't know if you noticed, they had the same pattern over and over again. And I think the technical team of Bafana also managed to see that they will try and come. First, if you look, they're very good at taking shots. So, which means avoid having them outside your box, but push them out wide. Because if now they try and play in crosses, you have Ocon and Umbogas. They are very good in the air. Aerially, they compete. So that means all their balls coming into the box will not be as effective as they want. So you push them to the sides, then they're not so effective. Then when they put in the guy San, who I feel like is their biggest player, they know that he's technically gifted. He will kill
Correct.
you outside the box.
Yeah.
But they pushed him so much to go wide, keep on going wide, keep on going wide. If it goes wide, then it's a cross. If it's a cross, Mbogazi wins it, Mutau wins it, Bokon wins it.
Yeah, Benji, part of the
Yeah,
reasons why you and I need to embark on this journey of also studying the technical, because we need to identify such patterns. We need to identify such things. But Benji, we went on to win the match. And then we are in
yeah,
the knockout stages. We faced Canada, who I
yeah,
thought before the game, and just going to send me another clips of where we can exploit Canada. And in that game, I saw those patterns that, or maybe those spaces that Nkanyiso pointed out before the match. And maybe Bafana should consult you, Chisegelo, and maybe get one or two videos from you, because I saw a lot of those spaces that you talked about before the game. But Benji, we then qualified, and then we saw the
yeah.
lineup. In your understanding, was the lineup what we needed? Were we missing someone? Especially judging with the fact that a previous game we had Mbata, there was no Mukwena. Was there a difference in terms of now play when Mbata was not there and Rembula was there?
Yeah, I think if you know, I always say that you don't know what goes in the minds or the heads of the coaches. Ne? After
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
them play, after watching Bafana play against South Korea, going into the Canada game, if I were the coach, I couldn't have changed the starting lineup. As much as I respect Teboho Mbule Mkwena to say we know what he contributes to the team, but he missed out the game of South Korea due to the yellow card suspension. And look at the team that started that game, the pressure that they were putting on South Korea. If they had started, and now they had the understanding of each other to say, this is how we play, this is how we can do things. So if they had started with the same lineup that they started with South Korea, I think something would have happened in that game, even in the first half, because you see the chances were coming. Mahopa had a chance. Unfortunately, he couldn't run past the defender, and then he had to come back and pass it. It didn't work out. It found Bulembule. He took a shot. The goalkeeper saved. But if they had the same, you look at the chances that Maseko had in the South Korea game because of the system that they were playing in that game. So if they had the same system in this game, maybe with Teboho Mokoena starting from the bench, things would have maybe been different. But you know, as I've said earlier on, that only the coach knows why he's doing what he does. But I mean, I would have started with the same lineup that they started with against South Korea.
Thanks, Benji. So now you are Hugo Bros. Let's just say you are now in that seat, that hot seat. Would you leave out
Madala.
Teboho Mokoena in the game where now you need to go to the last 16? So I consider him as one of the best that we've ever had in the country, Teboho Mokoena. And I think he's still very strong. He's going strong. The fights that he shows, when he cried during the national anthem of that game, I thought to myself, this guy is willing to do what those rugby people are doing, dying for the country. I'm not saying Bafana are less in terms of now the intensity of wanting to win. But when I saw that tear drop, and I thought to myself, this guy is willing to do anything for this country. But will you have lived out Teboho Mokoena?
Yeah, look, consistency is key. And sometimes being consistent will give you the desired results, If either way, if you leave him out, there's going to be talks. If he's there, there's talks already as to why he was playing. Why did this one not play? Why did not continue? So as a coach, your head is on the chopping block either way. But if I were Hugo Bros, I would have kept the same team that won us the 3 points, against South Korea. Why do I say so? If the guys continue, they have the morale already. They have the understanding already. They know what's at stake. It's a game where you don't need to do any kind of motivation or anything. Just let the guys go out there and play. They know the whole country is looking, the whole world is looking. So go out there and make a name for yourself. If then change is needed, then you can bring in the guy. It takes nothing away from him. It doesn't make him less of a player. He's given so much to the country. We appreciate him so much. But a second half as well, if you see that you need some changes, and then you can throw in Mrembula, he's gonna give you something.
Pitch truckers, according to Benjamin Yirenda and Kanye Somtolo, they wouldn't have played Teboho Mokoena. Something that I wouldn't have done. But I consider Mokoena as one of the best. Yes, he did not have a good game, but we wouldn't have known if he did not put him on. But be that as it may, what done is done. But now, Coaches usually say, especially when they lose, that first game against Mexico, they will always say, we've learned. And we've made mistake, we've learned. We went to that game against Canada. First half, Mufukeng is taken out from Bata. We go back to the system, almost similar system, without 5 defenders at the back, but we still have those three in the center. Was that a good thing, Benjamin, to have, to go back to a system where I thought it did not work in the first game?
The first mistake was the starting lineup. That was the second mistake. You could not have taken out an attacking player while we still need goals. By that time, we are not even safe to say we can go to. If it was a group stage, you want a draw to go to the next round, it's a different thing. This is a knockout stage. The only result you need is a win. We know in football you have 3 results: win, draw, and lose. But this game, we only need a win. And you are taking out a player that could cause upsets anytime, despite his small body, despite his age and stuff. But what he does with the ball can give you results at any time. Why do you take him out? And why do you bring in a defensive midfielder who you would have started with like you did with South Korea? That was a mistake. If they wanted to take out a player, they would have taken out Teboho Mokoena and bring in Tarent Mbata. Because Tarent Mbata, he can also go up front, just like Teboho. He can go up front and shoot. But Teboho was not the Teboho Mloi we know Teboho Mokoena we know in this game. That's why most of his passes were awkward passes. He was even passing the opposition, or a short pass to a teammate, and the opposition could take the ball and stuff like that. So I think they would have taken out Mbule and bring in a Tarent Mbata, so that they go forward as well to say Mbata can take a shot just like Mokoena can take shot from outside the box and cause some problems. So I think it was not a good change at all.
Yeah, in one of the interviews, a friend of mine had an interview with the technician, whom I think is one of the best we have in the country, in Peter Musimane. And Jingles was talking about the absence of Mbata in the game and him being in the game. He says it's not a lot of people that are noticing Talente when he's on the field, but a lot will notice when he's not on the field. It shows that his game is different. His game has so much positives in it. What do you think of that statement made by the technician, Nkanyiso? Because you also will give us that technical aspect of his game now, what he does on the field, that with the naked eye, so to speak, you cannot really identify what it does.
Yeah. Fortunately, I'm blessed enough. I think it was in 2024 in the MTN 8 final at Moses Mabhida Stadium, where Rele scored, Mabasa scored, and I think Saleng scored. Orlando Pirates was
Correct.
trailing. Yes. I had, in the first 45 minutes, I counted 22 touches from Talent Mbata, and out of the 22, 21 were forward passes. So that tells you something. He does not go backwards. He gives you progression going forward. And I also counted, like, you look at the guy, you don't see much of what he's doing, but the spaces he covers. That's why you could see a Makaula going everywhere in the field. That's because he knows that there's a talent Mbata who's covering him. There's a talent Mbata who's the block between the two lines. You know, if you look at the attacking players, he's going to be there. If we are dropping back and consolidating, he's going to be there as a cover. So him playing in the game against Canada, yes, it was a blessing. But I feel like they did not have the rhythm, to say, let's progress, let's go forward. Especially after Mufokeng is no longer there. He's your most creative player, I think, in the whole league in South Africa, the most creative player. You know, unfortunately, after the game, I listened to the coach of Canada. When he said, we know the guys, we know what they can do. We know Mufokeng, we know Apollos. So that means they studied, they spent time looking at these guys. And if you look at how many touches we had, how many passes the entire game, we had 575 passes. They had 370. We had 97 breaking passes, but we had less progressions. They had more progressions with less passes. So that means they managed to frustrate us. Williams was the one guy with the most touches in the game. So that means we are all playing in our half, or in our zone. We are not really hurting them going forward. Now you take out Mufokeng. So it means we are really not that sharp going up front. Take away, I mean, you're not taking away anything from whoever was there, but you need a Mufukeng. He gives you something, you know. I was also hoping he was going to put a Gamos Bilibili somewhere because you need the pace. You need like something to hurt the opposition.
Yeah, yeah. Kanye, so I'm listening to you and I'm thinking you should be attached on one of these teams in South Africa and maybe profiling them because just on the tip of your tongue, you're mentioning how many passes, you're mentioning who had the most touches, which is something great. I think as a position is a coach's advisor, I think you may get a job or two. Should someone send this clip to a good coach who's willing to have you? But what you mentioned about Mbata is also very key because he's got those progressive passes, and without Mfukeng when he's there and the understanding between the two, it sort of limited us in that game. We would have capitalized a lot had he coach kept Mufukeng on the field. But Benji, you look, Nganyiso is saying Ronza has had most touches, but you look at the system that they were trying to do. But the Canada coach was so smart in not pressing there up front. But the composure, the coordination, the understanding of what needed to be done by Ocon, Bogazi, and Ronza. It was absolutely marvelous to watch.
Yeah, I think if anyone who watched that game could not stop talking on raving about the central defense pair of Ocon and Mbokazi. The other one is 22, the other one is 20. Young defenders. This is their first World Cup or first, okay, they have been to AFCON, but this was like the biggest tournament in their lives. But the way they played is like they are seasoned defenders who have been there before. Look at the tackles that Mbokazi was doing. Look at the confidence of dribbling that Okoni had. Okoni was dribbling inside the box, facing an attacker and dribbling the attacker and passing it to Ronza. That just shows you how confident those boys were. And for Rowan Williams to have 77 passes, a record that has been there for 22 years, that was held by a German goalkeeper sweeper, Emmanuel Neuer. It shows that the guy was also confident in the box to say, I can pass anyway. As Gainso was saying earlier on, to say he was passing with left, right, whichever leg it comes, he passes, whichever leg he passes. And it really helped. I think if it wasn't for those two, Canada would have pressed us more. They would have even maybe scored more than one goal that they had eventually scored, unfortunately.
Yeah, Ronza was absolutely amazing. You're right, Benji. 91 passes is not it's not that easy to do, especially when you're playing against internationals. People are exposed to more difficult league than we have. I'm not looking down on our league, but our league is one of the best, which is why we had most local based players in the World Cup. And it was absolutely lovely to see. Jisakala, when you look now at Stole, we had a lot of criticism around Sitole, especially in the first game where he got the red card even. He made us concede. It's part of the game. We're not really pointing a finger. He did, though, but he also got a red card. He was not himself in the first game. But second game, he is the Sitole that we knew, that we saw at the 2023 AFCON. He is Sitole that is playing international football. He's playing in Portugal. And he really rise up to the occasion in the second, in the third, and the fourth match of Bafana.
He was playing like a man who's running away from a machonisa, the way he was scanning. He was scanning, I think, before he received the ball, he was scanning close to 8 to 10 times. And when I was checking, like after the game stats, he actually played very, very well against Canada. It's just that the team, like I said, the team overall had no rhythm, in the departments leading to midfield and to the strikers. But he played very well because if you look, there's what you call passing networks. Between him and Ronan Williams, there was 61 touches. Between him and Bogazi, there was like 21 touches. So that tells you that he became the option every time the team was trying to build and go forward. It's just that now we started failing if we had to progress more and more into the final third. But the guy played very well. He was proving to South Africans that, hey, Mexico was a mistake. I belong here. And I think everyone who was watching the game can agree that he was supposed to be man of the match. because he gave it his all. Struggled to put it into words because you can see. I'm sure when he got to the hotel, he slept and didn't want anything because he gave his all. He owed South Africa from those two mistakes that happened. The red card and us losing the game.
He absolutely did. He did play his heart out. I mean, you look at his combination between himself and the centre backs. In Ime Okone got 108 touches, and Mbogazi 103 touches, Ronza 91 touches, and then he followed with a great part of the game. Now, I want to, Benji, look at what could happen with Apolis, with Mufukeng, with Mbogazi, with Imeokon, with Mrembula. Those players, with every social media page has them, that they could be going to a bigger league. I understand that Ime is already in Germany, Mbogazi is already in America, and so is Stolle in Portugal. But these three, which is Apolis, Mufukeng, and Mokoena. And maybe you can put in Maseko in that he could leave Cyprus and go to a better league than where he's playing.
Yeah, and first and foremost, what I want to say, just to add on what you said, to say most of the Bafana players in that World Cup squad were playing in the PSL. But again, it was the only team at the World Cup that their players were all born in South Africa. There's no player born in the UK and changes citizenship, no player born in the US and changes citizenship. All those 26 players in the Bafana team were born in South Africa. So that was the only team. Every team else has players born from other countries playing for other countries. But coming back to the three mainly, as you have said, that Stolle, Okon, and Mbokazi are already playing outside the PSL. Coming to the three, that is Mbulembule, Mfukeng, and Aporis. I think it's about time. Seriously speaking, I think our teams should also learn to let go. I think sometimes we hold on to a player who we should let go, who should explore other leagues and stuff for too long. When it's time to go, let them go and we'll sign another player. We should learn from other teams outside the country to say, if a player wants, even in Europe, if a player wants to leave Chelsea and go to Liverpool, they do. If they want to leave Arsenal and go to Manchester City, they do. Let's also learn to do that, to say, if there is interest in a player and the money is good for the team, let the players free, let them experience the other leagues as well. And that experience, it will help grow the player and it will also help grow the national team. So I think if you look at the teams that are interested in Mbulembule, in Lebohire Mfukeni, and also in Aporis, they are all big teams in Europe or even in Saudi Arabia for Mbulembule. But if you look at Belgium for Lele and you look at FC Porto for Aporis, FC Porto are the one-time UEFA Champions League winners, where Ben McCarthy lifted that trophy with Jose Mourinho. So it's a very big team in Portugal, not just in Portugal, but in Europe. So I think if the teams can just give their hearts and let the players explore other options, I would really appreciate that. And it's about time. The players have shown locally. Look at Apolis from University, from Supersport, discarded, to University of Pretoria, discarded, to Polokwane City, to Orlando Pirates, now to the World Cup. That's a terrific journey for a player like Aporis. We can say same thing of Mbulembule coming all the way from a Free State province to Supersport to Mamelodi Sundowns, then back to Bafana, Lele Mfukeng, from here in Sharpeville, where I am. I'm in the Val in Sharpeville. That weekend, I was watching his games. He has a foundation here, Lele Mfukeng, where young players are also being developed. It's called the Lebohire Mfukeng Foundation Annual Games, which are playing almost every year. On Saturday and Sunday, they are having more games. So I think these players should be given that chance to go and play overseas to develop not just themselves, but the national team as well.
You're absolutely right, Benji. I think the president of AMA 2000 is really living up to that. He's showing youngsters that anything is possible. There's a lot of younger players with great hope now that Mufukeng is there, Nkota is there, Mbogazi is there, Ronza, who was once young as well, is there. I look at Ronza and I think to myself, it takes a strong character to change a career like that. I remember Colin Nicholson, you and I, Benji, we were in that game at FNB Stadium against Brazil where he was defeated. I never thought that Ronza will come back and be the
Yeah.
player that he is. So a lot of that spirit needs to be taken down to other players who are coming up. So you're absolutely right. We really showed up in this World Cup and truly very proud of the boys. I have to say, after great criticism to Hugo Bros, he really redeemed himself as well. We are truly proud that a Belgian coach come into South Africa and change our love for Bafana and have qualified us after so many years without qualifying for the World Cup. So we are truly grateful for that. But again, just in closing, Chisegelo, you are Danny Jordan. Are you keeping Hugo Bros or are you taking him out for another person?
Yeah, quite. That's a hard one. That's a very, very hard one because you have to look. You have to look at the time frame. We have Afcon qualifiers coming. Do you have someone that can replace Hugo Bros if you say Hugo Bros go into retirement? Now you have to look at options. Do you call back Jose Rivero? There's been speculation about him coming back. Do you call him Manoba Mneti, whom I think for me would be the best candidate because he understands the South African football culture. He understands the players. He's worked with some of the players. So it's more of a continuation. But as Danny Jordan, I would definitely let Madala go and I would go for Manoba Mneti.
Technology just killed us there in Benji. I would have loved to know if he would also keep him. I would have loved to know if we would keep him or let him go. But we know that he did say that after the World Cup he's going to retire. But it doesn't look like that because after the final whistle, he did not mention, he wasn't so sure if he's leaving or not. He did not he did not mention it directly that he's leaving. I know it's in the AMs to you. I think it's just after 3 to 4 or just after
Yeah,
4. And you've kept the time
Passport.
for us. 4:30. My goodness. Now, thank you so much for allowing us to dive into your brains and understand football better. And I know there's going to be a lot of interaction between yourself and us as TikTokers.
Okay.
And we love what you have done for us. And truly, thank you for flying our flag proudly in America. And when you return, please go via Mexico and get us some tacos. We'd really love to have that.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And it's really an honor. I hope that people follow this platform. People follow this platform, and there's definitely great insights in all of this. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Follow, subscribe, and then thank you so much.
You heard from Kanyeso. Subscribe, like, and share. Until next time. Goodbye.
Thank you.